All right, happy Friday, everybody. Time for another Quick Win Collective Mastermind. Today we have got a special guest. We have Eric Simon, aka the Broke Agent. He's going to be sharing with us exactly what's working right now on social media. And one of the great things about this is listen, whether you're here and you have 50 followers or you have 50,000 followers, we're going to have an opportunity for you to see the opportunity right now is better than it ever has been, no matter the size of your audience. So, hey, as you're coming in, jump in the chat and let us know where you're coming in from, if you will. That way we'll get us started as we're getting started. Also, we're going to hear from Chris Kelly, CEO and President of Home Services of America. He's going to share with us a little bit of it. Really dovetails in. He and I were at a conference a couple of weeks ago, and he shared this about communication and the value of expertise. And literally, it really just leans right into exactly what Eric is going to be talking about. So as we're coming in, love seeing all these folks coming in. Iowa. Let's see, West Virginia. I wouldn't expect that. New Jersey, California, Indiana, Pennsylvania, all over the country. Great. We're already, we'll give it just a couple more minutes as people keep coming in. Over 400 already. Excited to have everybody here. Listen, as we do every single week, I know that you're going to leave here with some ideas that you can put into practice immediately. So get ready to take some notes. Get ready to have an opportunity to see some things that are a little bit unique. One of the things I love about Eric is he brings such a unique perspective from a standpoint of just understanding. I mean, he is literally, he's pretty much obsessed with watching and seeing and identifying trends that are working for agents, and we get the benefit of that today. So, all right, already over 450, continuing to climb. Excited to have everybody here. Listen, why don't we go ahead and get started? So, again, thanks as always to Savage and Sam for making us look better than we really are, so appreciate them. And let's go ahead and bring Chris to the front, if you don't mind, Sam. And Chris Kelly, my friend, looking at this. Rocking that hoodie. I love it. Love it. And this morning. And so listen, we're gonna go into this today, Chris. And you and I were talking about this, and at the conference a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about the value of expertise and what that looks like and the value of communication there. So I thought when we were talking about this, it dovetails right in. So if you don't mind, right before we get to as we head into Eric, share that stuff with us because it's such good stuff, and just appreciate you always jumping on here and bringing some value for everybody.
Great to be here, and good morning, everybody. I love when you were asking everyone to put in. I saw someone, first time I've seen it is Lake of the Ozarks, which was kind of my stomping ground as a kid growing up during the summers, being in Kansas City. Everyone headed down to the Ozarks. So great to see the Lake of the Ozarks representing us here this morning. So so as Jimmy mentioned, we were at a conference here a couple weeks ago, and we talked about this idea of expertise. And so wanted to share just, again, very, very briefly, because it does really fit into kind of what you and Eric are going to talk about a little bit here, and really what it kind of means to be an expert these days. And the idea about it is that there's research behind it. It's easy to say, hey, be an expert, and we all want to be experts in real estate and what we talk about and stuff. But what we find is that when you are perceived as an expert, it actually boosts customer satisfaction rates. It actually increases referrals, that positive word of mouth when someone perceives you as an expert. And there's some easy ways on how we do it, and avoiding, let's say, some of the common traps that come up with it and stuff. So not surprisingly, the power of being an expert is actually enhanced and pronounced when the customer has less prior knowledge. And so we might sometimes think of that as like, oh, that must mean first-time home buyers, or the first time someone is selling a house, right? They've bought a house, but they never sold a house before. But let's be honest. We used to say 7 years between real estate transactions. It's 10, 11, 12, 13 is the average gap now between someone buying a house and then selling it and entering into another real estate transaction. So much has changed, right? If for those that have been in the business for a while, think back a decade ago, think back 12, 13 years ago. The process is different, right? It's not the same. So almost anyone who is buying or selling today, unless they've done it in the last year or two, really is going to kind of have that less prior knowledge, because it's not the same. Last time they did it a decade, we weren't doing electronic signatures or all the different ways that the process works. And, the information we have access to now, through the internet and through AI and everything else like that. So really almost everyone going through the process is somewhat of a novice. And so we can really enhance, again, our perception as an experts, our ability to drive more referrals, our ability to enhance ourselves in the eye of the consumer by playing out and really making sure we bring that expertise through it. So when we advise and we explain, we kind of elevate the status in the eyes of the client, again, increases the likelihood of recommendations and referrals. And really what it comes down to is communication. And that's what's great. I love when you have Eric on, because you and Eric are going to be spoon feeding examples of communication that we can be doing. So in a study of about 1,000 consumer actions, agents who conveyed their expertise through concrete, specific language were perceived as listening more attentively, rated higher as perceived experts, which in turn increased satisfaction and the willingness to engage. And what I mean by this here is very simple. We've all kind of heard the scripts before. Hey, if you're stopped in the grocery store and someone says, "How's the market?" and you go, "It's great. It's wild. It's amazing," right? It's nuts, right? These things that are vague and have nothing to do with it, with what's really going on. And really, an expert would come back and say, "Hey, why do you ask? What have you heard?" Well, I've heard it's a really bad time to buy. Well, I've heard it's a really bad time to sell. I've heard rates are this. And you get that information, and then that gives you the status of what to go back with as the expert to say, well, let me tell you what's really happening in your neighborhood right now. And so we got to get away from kind of that general kind of salesy, it's wild, it's great. It's really about coming across as an expert. And that means asking more questions. So when someone says, how's the market? Why? What have you heard? And then based on what they reply, it gives you a chance to really start sharing that knowledge and what sets you apart from others and stuff. So how we communicate, that word choice, that clarity, it's almost as important as what we're actually delivering. The communication style really enforces expertise. And so we just wanted to kind of plant that seed today. So as you're listening to Eric, as you're listening to others, as Jimmy's sharing some of his information, it's just a great way of making sure that when you have these opportunities to be in front of your clients, in front of a potential client, understanding how important it is to be perceived as an expert and having those market data, have it ready to go so that you have these talking points when you're stopped, because you all know what happens, right? Happens at coffee shops, happens in the grocery stores, happens when you're walking down the street. Thankfully, we're in a business. People like talking about and asking questions about what we have the privilege of getting to do. Be ready to convey that expertise when that opportunity presents itself.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, word choice, specificity, as well as clarity. Those are really the three things that that Eric's going to talk a lot about in the way that everything we're doing, as far as whether it be social media, whether it be our marketing, everything we're doing. And so spot on a lot of these things. A couple things, as we were talking a little bit about this, when we're seeing some of these things, and we were out there when we were at the conference and everything, we heard a little bit about the hospitality side of this. I don't mind. I'd love for you, just mention Will a little bit if you don't mind, and just kind of that book. I'd love for you to highlight it because it's made an impact with me before and now after. I'm going back and ordered another hard copy of it to go back through not just the Audible, but I'd love for you just to share about that, because I think everybody will get a little bit out of that.
Yeah, if you haven't read it already or watched some of his TED Talks or some of the videos, Will Guidara is the author of Unreasonable Hospitality. He's a restaurateur that took 11 Madison Park, rated to the #1 restaurant in the world, and serves as a producer on the Emmy award-winning show The Bear, if a lot of you guys have seen The Bear. And really the way Will did it is he's not a chef, right? So obviously the food at 11 Madison Park was, outstanding, but it was really through the hospitality element. And there's so much of what he does and what he talked about that translates to what we do in our business as well. It's something that you and I, and even on this group, we've talked about is stop looking just to the real estate industry for inspiration, look outside. And when Will talks about unreasonable hospitality, it's kind of that idea. It's being attentive and listening to the client and the consumer, and then reacting to what you hear back from them. And so one of his famous stories is the idea of that some foodies from France were in the restaurant. They were kind of finishing up their meal. They had come to New York purely for the opportunity to eat at some of the best restaurants in New York City, but he heard them lamenting about the fact that they never actually went and got a New York hot dog from a hot dog stand. And so he immediately exits out the back door. He goes and buys a couple New York hot dogs from a stand, brings them back. His chef refuses to, serve them in that way. So he plates the hot dogs very nicely and he serves them, to these customers that had come in from France. And, his point is, he could guarantee to this day they will not remember what they ordered from his restaurant and what they ate, other than the hot dogs that he served at the end that really made the moment like absolutely, memorable. That's the idea of going above and beyond. And again, we all have the opportunity in the business that we get to do, of kind of creating those same magical moments for clients. And everything that they go to from buying to selling a house, there's so many touch points. And that's his focus, is map out the touch points. Think of every touch point you have with your clients as they buy or sell a home. And then how do you start elevating each one of those touch points? And if you just kind of focus on a few, then go to the next, you can create a really, really remarkable experience by just focusing on those little touch points that we have.
Hey, Chris, before I let you go real quick, and then we're going to get to Eric. One thing I wanted to mention, a lot in the news, obviously right now about insurance and affordability and things. I was speaking with the team yesterday, and let me just, I know we've got a lot of agents that maybe aren't with HSOA or with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. So let me just, for real quick, for those of you that are with HSOA or BHHS, just know this, and I believe the website, let me just get the website real quick. If you're worried about that, obviously we do have an agent program for insurance. And if you go to hsoaagentbenefits.com, what they're seeing is that those rates are at or lower than ACA rates. And because it is medically approved, it actually gives you the ability to make sure that you have something that is only increasing at single digits instead of some of the things that we're expecting. So I just wanted to just make sure those of you that are here, it's a topic that's out there, and I just wanted to mention that. And thanks, Chris, for always leading us and giving us those opportunities for the agents that are associated with us to have that opportunity.
Yeah,
So,
and just very quickly is there's a lot of offerings out there that make me nervous from a regulatory standpoint, because they'll say, look, even though you're an independent contractor, if you sign up for this, we can treat you like an employee. The worst thing that you could ever have happen is you are actually in need of filing a medical claim, and that's when they find out, hey, you're ineligible, and they deny coverage and stuff. So it pays to do your homework on the front end. So please do that. And Zelda, I saw your comment. The name of the book was Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara.
all right. Thank you, my friend. Always
Thank
great
you.
stuff.
Have a great
Thanks, Chris, for
conversation with Eric.
everything.
I look forward to it.
All right.
All
Sounds
right.
good. All right.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
If we can bring Eric up now, Eric Simon, my friend, I got to tell y'all, Eric is someone that is really, from a standpoint of someone that actually I watch, he's one of those people because he's a self-proclaimed, I guess you could say, content nerd who really loves to understand exactly why do people react to certain types of content. It's how he built his brand, The Broke Agent. Maybe you've seen some of that stuff. And then that has led into BAM Media, which is now, in my opinion, one of the best marketing tools out there as far as all of the weekly opportunities they give you to show you exactly what's working. Podcasts, I mean, they're doing them constantly, obviously. And it really does lead to giving those of you as agents the opportunity to see exactly what it is. I love finding people that I don't necessarily have to go and do all the homework because they're doing it. And in reality, like I'm watching the Thursday podcast every week with my buddy Jason Cassidy and Eric, and every single week they're bringing value in that. So Eric, love to just, man, first off, thanks for being here. Really appreciate, man. It's been fun. You and I have kind of known each other for a few years now. It's been kind of fun to watch both of the evolution of what we do and how we handle serving agents. And dude, I just love everything you're doing right now. And so, man, I'm excited to get to hear some of this stuff today for you and I to have a conversation. Reality, just so you guys know, obviously this is gonna be interactive. So put your comments there in the chat. And I just want to say, if we get to a point, Sam, where you see something, hop in with us. I mean, this is gonna be more of a conversation than a presentation. And so you guys are gonna have an opportunity really to kind of to hear the conversations that Eric and I have a lot of times where we're talking about specific things. And so this will be more conversation. But Sam, thanks for being and helping us with that. And then Eric, I'm gonna just turn it over to you.
Thank you, Jimmy. First, the only book that anybody in real estate has to read is Commission Impossible Rogue Agent. Forget the Unreasonable book or The Agent's Edge or what was the Gary Keller book, $1 Million Real Estate Agent. This is the only book you have to read. My comic book, Commission Impossible. So make sure
there it is. There it is. Wait, a nice plug too. That was pretty impressive there, the way you just did that. So
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me, Jimmy. I'm gonna share my screen here just in 1 second. I'm gonna talk about content that is working today and how the social media algorithms have just completely changed. So let me know if you could see my screen, Jimmy.
Perfect. Yep.
All right, perfect. So feel free to chime in. And again, this is going to be interactive, so ask your questions in the chat. I'll try to get to a bunch of these at the end. But I'm really going to talk about content that works today and how social media has completely changed to something called interest media. But Jimmy, if I can, I want to do this presentation in reverse, because at the end of every single presentation, I've done 1 million masterminds, speaking gigs, office hours in our BAMX community. I get the same 4 questions every single time. This is me right here getting pissed off at those same 4 questions. And these 4 questions, it's like agents like to get in the weeds with things, but I'm going to break down
great
content
picture
in a more... Yeah, that is kind of what I look like after 10 years of doing real estate media. Once I keep losing my hair, I will look exactly like this. All right, so the first question I get what time of day should I post? When do I post? Jimmy, I'm sure you've had agents ask you this question. And I don't really understand why it keeps getting asked, as if you're going to post at 8 o'clock a.m. or 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. or if you post 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's going to mean something for your actual content. The truth is, it literally does not matter at all when you post your content, because I know people are going to ask this question. And the AI algorithms now on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube are so good and potent that if your content is good, it will be served to the right people at the right time. So I just want to dispel of this question forever. So do not ask that in the chat. Never ask this question again. It does not matter when you actually post. And especially, Jimmy, if you publish content like this. As you can see here, I have a little magic mushroom in the bottom, projectile vomiting rainbows. And he's doing that, or she's doing that. I don't know the gender of this mushroom. It's because this content does not play today. It played maybe in 2016, 17. It doesn't play today. I have to keep hammering this point home because I do so many social media audits in our BAMX community. And this is the sort of content that I still see. So if you're posting just listed or just sold posts like this that look like flyers that you should be handing out at open houses, you could post this all day, every day, 50 times per day, and it will still get no engagement. Same thing with this. I'm going to get into how to post holiday content in a little bit, but if you're just posting a Remax branded turkey on Thanksgiving, saying Happy Thanksgiving, this provides absolutely no value to anybody. So here's a simple rule of thumb. When it comes to the time of data posts, just don't upload anything from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. when people are out partying, they're blacked out drunk, they're sleeping, or they just haven't woken up yet. Don't publish content when people aren't by their phones and it's during these hours. So that's just a simple rule. So here's the fact. Good content will always find the right people. But you know, it does matter, Jimmy. Not the time you post, but timeliness. And that's my friend, not my friend, but that's Robert Ory right there, NBA legend, who is always in the right place at the right time. 7 world championship rings, always hitting the most clutch 3 possible. And that's how you should think of your content. How do I upload content at the perfect time? Now, this is a subject that I've talked about a lot. Maybe I've even talked about it on this mastermind, but I just kind of want to update it a little bit. This is called trend jacking. It's the same thing as timeliness, and it's creating content. It's a marketing strategy based off of popular topics, sounds, or events, basically creating content in the moment. As you can see here, this is Neil Dingra. He posted content during the government shutdown and how it would affect the economy and real estate. This is Jared James. I'm going to play this video in a little bit. Everybody right now is talking about the portable mortgage and the 50-year mortgage. The timeliness of that matters, right? If you post about the 50-year mortgage in 2 weeks, that content is not going to perform nearly as well as it did this week or right when it came out. And of course, there's football and stuff going on, so I'm always creating content around that. So there's really 4 main ways to trend jack. You could also trend jack audio, and you could trend jack stuff like the weather. But the 4 main ways are the news, and this could be general housing market news, or it could be news that's going on in your local community. That's probably the best news that you could actually trend jack. You could do the holidays, Halloween, Thanksgiving. This is now the perfect time to kind of hop on these trends. And then, of course, you could trend jack posting styles. I remember like a couple of months ago, you had all these people doing these AI babies of themselves. Jimmy, I don't know if I saw you do one of these, but these were all over the place. And then there was some trend that was literally like a 48-hour trend, and it's right here. You can see my cursor, right, where it's hovered over?
Yes, got it.
You remember those horizontal videos people were posting?
Yeah.
It made no sense to me, but that's called a style trend jack of the type of post that people are actually doing. That sort of post would not work well today, but it did work in that 48-hour window. And of course, you could trend jack pop culture, and I'm going to share some examples of that. So this is an example of the broke agent, myself, trend jacking the news. So obviously the 50-year mortgage came out, so I was posting a bunch of Dave Ramsey memes about how he's upset that people would even consider this. And then I'm going to play this video and explain why this is a trend jack. But Jimmy, give me a thumbs up if you could hear the volume. All right, I actually spoke at a conference in North Carolina with Jimmy, and that's what he looked like the first night before we spoke. But let me explain why I posted something like this. So you're probably wondering, like, how is this a timely post? It's about real estate conferences. I uploaded this because my audience is real estate agents. I posted this in August during the Tom Ferry Summit. The reason being that significant portion of my audience was at the Tom Ferry conference. This is during conference season. If I were to upload this on January 1st, it probably would have had a third or a quarter of the engagement. But because people feel like they're in the moment with you with content, that's what gives it that absolute rocket fuel.
Yeah.
All right, so here's how BAM, this is our media company, how we trendjack the news. 52% of buyers would buy a haunted house. We posted this in October because October was spooky season, right? It's Halloween. If I would upload this in November, again, it would have a third of the engagement. The post on the left, I just want to show you guys that when you don't use kind of generic images and you use recognizable faces or memes like Bob Barker here or Frodo Baggins here from Lord of the Rings, it really emphasizes your content and makes it more shareable. So if you're uploading a stat and you could find some sort of memification that you could do with it, something that's recognizable, it'll really increase your shares. Now here's a trend jack. This is Jared James. He's a real estate coach. I want to show you how he formats his content, but this post did really well because I think it's almost at 1 million views now. And the reason it did so well is because I saw a tweet about the 50-year mortgage. I screenshotted it. I sent it to our writers. Our writers uploaded it immediately. And then I sent this to Jared James saying, hey, you should do a green screen on this. And the reason it performed so well is because he was one of the first real estate influencers to give a longer form video about the 50-year mortgage. And that's a really important piece of information to know, Jimmy, is that if you are doing content about hyperlocal news, being first and being early, you want to be the one that is getting shared, right? Because if another real estate agent or someone else shares this content, they're not going to share yours. So I just want to play this video and then kind of break it down.
Okay, guys, huge news in the real estate industry. This guy right here, President Trump, just launched the idea of a 50-year mortgage.
First off, just the way he frames, hey guys, huge news in the real estate industry. That's such a natural hook that's going to hook in the audience. Second, he has this text-based hook right here. President Trump extends mortgages to 50 years. And then he also has the captions because he knows that 50% of people watch content without the sound on. So if you're framing up your videos, you always want to have a text-based hook that captures attention and that has the captions, and then also has the verbal hook of, hey guys, big news, right? That's going to make you actually stop on this video.
Replacing the current 30-year maximum mortgage. And just when you think it's just the latest crazy Truth Social post from the sitting president, as soon as he said it, the sitting FHFA director came out and said, no, it's absolutely true. We are working on it right now. More importantly, what does it actually mean? Well, naysayers and opponents of this are going to tell you that it's not a long-term solution, that it's kind of like eating candy when you need energy. It's not going to last. This is going to do the explosion in the market.
So we don't really, regardless of what he's saying about this, he does give his opinion. This is a really important aspect of it too. At the end, he has another call to action. He says, are you for it? Will it work? Comment below. Giving the audience a very simple call to action. Give me your thoughts. You have to ask for the engagement, Jimmy. You have to ask for the share, ask for the comments, but don't just say something generic, just like comment below, like comment your thoughts. He gives his opinion and then ask for an opinion.
Hey, Eric, before you move on from this, because I think literally if you just watched this entire, and if the only thing you take away from this was what Eric said, and he moved really quick past it, is to have a text hook. You can see it written right there.
Okay, guys,
and then
huge news.
And then you also have a verbal hook. Those two things combined is like, I mean, you can have one or the other and you'll do okay. But when you put them together, this is where it really starts giving you the opportunity to have that. So I just didn't want you to move very fast by that, because I think this is one of those fundamental, literally, if that's all you get out of this today, it was worth your free admission. The opportunity to see your content get more engagement is driven. I mean, that's the best way to start those things. So that was such a great comment that I think a lot of people miss. So
yeah, and the text hook takes away the pressure of the verbal hook, because the verbal hook is hard to deliver. It's uncomfortable to be like, hey guys, here are 3 reasons why buying is better than renting, right? But if you have it on the text too, that just helps people when they're scrolling, especially with the sound off, to actually stay and stop on your video. But again, the importance of this,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say the importance of this video was really the fact that he was the first one to post it, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, what I was going to say too is not only did he have the hook though, but you noticed there were some change. He changed the scenery. He went from
Yep.
obviously the green screen backdrop, which we can debate that, but it does typically have a little better engagement. And then also he moved and shifted to with no background, and so all of a sudden now you had a change in visuals, which just psychologically keeps them involved. And so it's just the way that he flows through these things. Obviously, I think you and I think we've talked about this before, but the way Jared over the last 2 years has really developed and grown his social media is pretty incredible. And if you were to watch what he does and model that as an agent, you're gonna do extremely well as well.
And his whole strategy is trend jacking news. It's what's happening in
All it
real
is.
estate news.
Yeah.
I'm going to post it.
Yeah.
Same thing could be with you and your community. What's happening in Los Angeles. I'm going to post about it. The second I see something about it, I'm going to be first in my followers' feeds.
Hey, Eric,
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about that, because that is so good. I mean, and I know you're going to get to this with some of these, but what is it that you watch in the news where, like, if you see something, to know that it is a trend or it will be a trend, because you're really good at identifying those things early? And is there something in particular that like cues to you that, hey, this is something I either need to watch more, or do you try to jump it and be one of the first ones on everything?
Yeah. I mean, if I'm scrolling with intent, so I'm not just scrolling for entertainment and I'm scrolling
Right.
for actual content ideas. If I see a post style like this, like these news headline styles, and I see a horizontal post, or I see an audio that's kind of consistently like a trending audio that I see on a bunch of posts in a row, that's a trigger to me that this is something that is trending right now. Or that Sydney Sweeney meme that was really popular a couple of weeks ago. If I see that on Twitter, I see that on Instagram, I see that everywhere, then that's something that I should probably use. So when you're scrolling, just look for audios, look for trends, look at the way people post. And if you see something consistently working, then that's probably something you should use. So I don't know why the posts are getting a little cut off here, but this is an example of how an agent can trend jack hyper local news. So you shouldn't do housing market news all the time, right? It should be local news, what's happening in your community. That's what people are interested in. So this is Greater Rest and Living. These are members of our BAMX community, Graham and Tracy. And what they do is they just take any news that's happening in their community. They either do green screens with it, they do content in front of the actual business, or they actually do news headline style posts like this. So it's really effective to mix up the actual way you're producing this content, so it's not just all videos. But I do want to play this example, and there's something really important at the beginning, so I'm going to pause it and explain exactly what it is.
The first of 2 new bakeries just opened in Reston, and we're here to find out if this French Asian influenced bakery is worth the Reston Station parking.
All right, so 2 things there, Jimmy. Number 1, walking and talking. Anytime there's movement at the beginning of your video, it's really effective. It's a lot better than just doing standing, right? It just creates that movement, which kind of acts as a visual hook, which is the 4th hook. She says, is this new bakery? So a new bakery, that's the 2nd thing. Instead of doing a business spotlight, which a lot of agents tend to do stuff on new businesses. So we had this couple on our podcast, and they said they would do business spotlights about, like, Sugarfish or a pizza place that's existed in their community for years. No one cares about a real estate agent's opinion on a pizza place, right? It's, are you bringing me new information? So their content started to explode once they started just doing only new businesses and news stories. So this is a new bakery. Then notice she said, what did she say? She said something about the Reston parking, like, this is worth the Reston parking. That is a little inside joke with her community, because I assume the Reston parking situation is a disaster, right? So anytime you could anytime you could mix in little community jokes into your content, that's what gives it that, hey, we're on the same page. That's what gives it that extra shareability. So don't just deliver the content. Say, hey, I know it's going to be 110 degrees in Tucson tomorrow, and you can't even touch your steering wheel, but you should still go to EG's because the watermelon flavor is out, right? Like, anytime you could just add those little things in, it gives your content rocket fuel.
Hey, great interview with them last week, by the way, the 2 of them. I mean, I thought they did a great job of communicating that. Yeah.
Yes, I appreciate that. It's called the Walkthrough Podcast, by the way, every Thursday,
Yeah,
Jason Cassidy and myself.
Yeah.
So this is more here. I'm going to actually stop my screen share and just refresh for a second, because for some reason it was not loading the actual.
While
post.
you're doing that, let me get to a couple things. I noticed somebody said, "What is a green screen?" Hey, if you're not sure about that, a green screen is anytime you see the backdrop where it has like a photo behind it or a video behind it. If you're not sure how to do that, simply ask. Just go into Instagram or into ChatGPT and just say, "How do I produce a green screen video?" And it's going to tell you exactly how to do it. So those are a couple little things that I saw in there as we were preparing it as well.
Exactly. Okay, so here's how you
There
can
it is.
actually see that they're loaded. Okay,
Okay.
so these for some reason are cut off, but this is about the Missouri governor talking about how the Kansas City Chiefs might want to have a retractable roof. This is about Hollywood pop-up bars or holiday pop-up bars in Kansas City. So again, hyper-local news that you could trend jack. Now, this is an amazing video. This is an agent named Kyle Talbot out in Kansas City. And this is a timely post again that is just about the weather. And just look how beautiful this post is and how shareable this is. And this got almost 300,000 views. So nothing to do with real estate, right? But he's an advocate. He's the hype person for his hometown. And something like this gets thousands of shares. It shows the beauty of Kansas City in autumn. And you may be wondering, well, why does it matter to get a bunch of views on something that isn't real estate content? Well, now this person's brand is popping up in other people's heads and other people's feeds. So you're going to see this, you might follow them. And then when he peppers in 20, 30% real estate content, then it makes these videos like it really worth it. So here are some just general news tips. Be first or be early. It's pretty impossible to be first because it's not like you're an actual newscaster, right? You're not breaking the news necessarily, but be first in your followers' feeds. So set up Google alerts, set up Scottsdale real estate, Scottsdale developments, new Scottsdale restaurants, so that your Google alerts could actually show you when these news stories are coming out. Follow local influencers. The reason I get all my social media content for, like Instagram strategy is because I follow a bunch of Instagram coaches and strategists so that I could break the news after they do it. Follow local news pages, newsletters, Reddit threads, Facebook groups, mom groups. Just be where news is happening. A lot of this content is actually broken in Reddit threads and in Facebook groups before it even happens, because that's where the rumors are. And that's how you can start the conversation with being first in your market. Second, variety of style, making sure you always mix up your content. So you don't want to always be posting reels. You don't want to be always posting green screens. You want to have a good mixture of static image posts, carousel posts, green screens, and reels. And then give your opinion on the news piece. This is an important part about it that really will help your engagement. Don't just say, hey, this new restaurant's going up. Say, hey, this new restaurant's growing up and it replaced this Italian restaurant that I loved. I'm actually pissed about it. Now let me know your thoughts, right? When you give your opinion on something, it really sparks engagement and comments and gives you a little bit more personality. Otherwise, you're kind of just an empty vessel that's just kind of regurgitating talking points. Let me know if there's any questions, Jimmy, as I'm just powering through this.
No,
Okay.
I mean, I think obviously where you're sharing there on the variety of the type and the structure and the style is critically important. I mean, how many times do we go see? And look, I've been guilty of this. You get into a rut where you're just doing the same things. This is something where obviously utilizing, like you showed, the carousel, utilizing the video, utilizing some of the posts. Those are all things that I think just absolutely add to when someone comes to your social media profile. That's your resume, and so if it looks organized, it does make a difference. So I think hey, look, we're at 10:33. It took that long to get to Alyssa. That's pretty amazing,
Isn't that amazing? Usually I just lead off with her. Usually it's just an entire presentation.
There's nobody
of how
better
good
to
Alyssa
follow, in
is.
my opinion. Yeah,
Hey,
hyperlocal
Eric.
content.
What's up, Sam?
So in the chat there, big shout out to my good friend Lauren Ravitz, who's asking, how do you stay true to, who you are, but because some people, their personal character is not such that they're going to do some of what we would characterize as like a silly post, but they still want to do something that's relevant like that. So how do they look at these things and stay on trend, but also stay true to who they are?
I think I'm going to get into interest media in a little bit and how it's replaced social, but posting about stuff you're interested in is going to be the best producer of content for yourself. If I am doing restaurant reviews about places I've never been or that I don't care about, I will look like a moron. If I'm talking about news stories that I don't know about or care about, it'll show through my content. If I'm interested in golf and I'm interested in sports and I'm interested in pizza or, walking a dog or having, whatever it is, like say I have kids and it's about the best hiking trails to take my kids on or something like that, that will come through the screen because it's stuff that I'm actually doing. So create content about stuff that you're actually doing, and then it'll be easier to actually film the content because you're doing it, right? Don't schedule a day to go do a bunch of restaurant reviews and stick your little mini mic in a restaurant owner's face when you haven't even scheduled a meeting with them, right? You want to do stuff that you're actually doing. I don't know if that was a good answer or not.
No, it is a good answer. Let me just put it this way. Basically, what Eric just said was, but wait, there's more. Look, we just went through one situation. We're going to go into some hyperlocal content. And to his point, you're going to see different people doing different types of content that fits their personality. And I think the key is just figuring out what your personality is. Because if you're true to who you are, and look, if it's not that, don't do that. But if you're true to who you are, it will automatically, the algorithm is as good as it's ever been, and it's never going to be as bad as it is today. It's getting better every day. It will find your ideal audience.
Exactly. So speaking of doing stuff that you're interested in, I'm interested in making jokes about real estate agents, right? So this is an example of me trend jacking the Thanksgiving holiday. Whoops. All right. So the point of that was, it's not a content directly about Thanksgiving, but it's don't send out these generic emails. I'll get more into that later. So how you should frame up the holidays. You know what, Jimmy? I'm just going to let myself explain. This is a video of myself, but it's about me explaining what sort of content agents should post on Labor Day, but the same principles will apply for Thanksgiving and other holidays.
Labor Day weekend's coming up, and if you're a real estate agent, that means you should probably post some brokerage branded generic template that says Happy Labor Day Weekend. That'll crush. Just kidding. Of course, that didn't work in 2015. That doesn't work in 2025. It never worked. What does work for holidays is when you actually provide new, useful, hyper-local information about the holiday to your consumers. So for example, for Labor Day, this could be what's the weather going to be like? What's the traffic situations going to be like? Maybe it's what local events are happening, or the best places to pick up barbecue from, or grab a cocktail, or what local businesses are having sales. Useful, new information. I wrote a blog with 11 content ideas for Labor Day weekend for real estate agents. It includes templates, free templates. If you want access to it, comment the
I'll give everyone here access to those templates as well. The point is you have to create value when you're talking about the holidays. You don't have to address the holiday directly. So this is a post from Melissa Carnut. She's talking about like pumpkin stuff in fall. Obviously, she posted this in October, the perfect time to post something like this, but just notice the value in the way she delivers this content.
It's fall, meaning it is pumpkin season. Here are 3 can't miss local pumpkin treats you're going to want to try in Spokane. First up, Boots Bakery in the Saranac Commons. So their pumpkin waffle is a year-round favorite and bestseller. It's vegan and gluten-free and topped with a chai butter, which added a spicy, very fall touch. And my next 2 favorites.
Notice, Jimmy, how there's a cut every 2 seconds. That's what keeps people's attention.
Yes.
It's a different setting every 2 seconds. She delivers the hook. It's B-roll, and then she's talking about it. And then I just want to
into this video, so make sure to see the caption for all the Spokane pumpkin goodie spots. Share this video with a friend in Spokane so you can tell them all about the best places to get all things pumpkin. It's fall.
Share this video with a friend in Spokane. So now you feel like you're in the know, right? This probably got hundreds, thousands of shares with people that now want to talk about this pumpkin stuff. So it's just a way to trend jack the holidays without mentioning the holiday directly. Yeah.
And let me mention her structure because, I think that's so important for people too, is you'll notice what she does is she typically, I think she shared this with you as well, but she shoots the front, she shoots her intro, she's moving, and it's just a selfie video. She also shoots her outro and her call to action while she's moving. It's basically, she shoots those. Then she goes into the business and just does quick scans and just B-roll footage. Then she just literally does a voiceover microphone, with her phone. I mean, it's basic. You can do this. And then she just plugs in. She actually has somebody that helps her with the edits, but it's a sweat or debt. Do you want to pay somebody, or do you want to take the sweat to learn this? But it's a great structure that everybody can utilize. Now, to give you an idea, like just something to think about, like if you were thinking about what could I do right now heading into Thanksgiving, just to give some ideas. If you were to do something along the lines, and here I am on 30A, uh, 5 specific pies from bakeries that it should be on your table this Thanksgiving. And it's something along those lines. And then you just go in and you talk about those. And then the end is like, share someone you're looking forward to sharing pie with on Thanksgiving, or something along those lines. It's just think about something that's hyper local. Think about something that people are thinking about right now. And it just gives you that capability to really put that on a little bit extra juice on it.
Perfect transition.
Hey, and one thing,
to Thanksgiving holiday ideas. Yes, Jimmy.
Let me just say this too. Look, we're giving you this and telling you to be creative. We're going to tell you about BAMX at the end, but literally what's great about this is that Eric does all of this on a weekly basis to give you these ideas, and you're going to hear more about that. But just so you know, you don't have to be the most creative people. If you find the creative people and you plug in, you'll be able to get these as well.
And you start to develop a creative muscle the more you do this. The more you think about these holidays in a different way of, oh, it's Thanksgiving, I should just post Happy Thanksgiving or send an email blast to people. No, how do I actually provide value to people on Thanksgiving? That really starts to warp the way you think about content. So we are in November. It is Thanksgiving season. Use holiday audios in your content, in your still image posts, in your carousels, and in your reels. So on Instagram, just search holiday audio, Christmas music, Hanukkah music, whatever. Here's a perfect example. I used a holiday audio because it's November. On the Zillow class action lawsuit post, I used the Elf theme song, and I got so many comments about how the song was perfect for this because it was kind of like Christmas morning for a bunch of agents. See how much that adds to the post?
Yes, so perfect.
And the reason the audio works is because that acts as another hook. If you're scrolling and you hear something, especially you hear a familiar tone like the Elf music, you're probably going to stop on the post. Doesn't even have anything to do with Zillow necessarily. It's just, hey, we're in Christmas season. Some other content.
Eric, when you're thinking of audios, how do you do your search for audio? Do you do it mentally and then you go in and you search under trending? Do you search for a specific topic? How do you think about when you're thinking about adding audio to posts?
The mood has to match the post. So if it's something happy, I try to find something happy. If it's something sad, I try to find something sad. I don't search the word happy or sad, but I like music. So I also just go on my Spotify, look at all my liked songs, and see kind of what would hit with that. But you can also search trending, but some of the trending songs are like TikTok sounds or kind of lip sync stuff that doesn't really work for this. But you always got to think like, the next 2 months, it's just holiday audios. Just put that under everything, and then it makes sense. Right. So what's it like shopping for homes during the holidays? Listings with huge dining rooms. Like you could highlight these saying this is the best place for Thanksgiving because it has this dining room. You could watch football in here. You could hide from the in-laws here, right? You could kind of do themed listing videos that aren't like directly correlated to Thanksgiving, but have that kind of in the background. Ranking Thanksgiving foods has nothing to do with real estate, but anytime you do any sort of food con or rankings really works. Your traditions, local traditions in your market, and community holiday events. So here's a content hack that everybody should do. Type this into ChatGPT. What holidays are there in November? Include the fake ones like National Cheese Day. National Cheese Day is in November, but this is what it's going to give you. All these holidays. Some real, some complete bullshit basically, but that doesn't matter because you could frame content around all of these. So I'm just looking at this right now. November 1st, World Vegan Day. That's a day that you could highlight the vegan restaurants in your local market. November 3rd, National Sandwich Day. Where's your favorite place to get a sub, right? Veterans Day. Of course, you could do content around that. National Happy Hour Day. It's your favorite 3 spots to grab cocktails. Like this is just kind of giving you ideas. You don't have to post them on the actual day because no one is waking up and saying, oh my God, it's National Happy Hour Day. Maybe you, Jimmy, but I'm certainly not doing that. Well, maybe I am. But the point is use this as kind of like a framework for your month to create hyperlocal content. So you have National Hiking Day on the 17th. I don't know why it says this is the fun one. It's not. I hate hiking. I would never actually even go on a hike. But you could do the best hiking trails in your local market, right? So this kind of sets up everything for your content.
Not a big hiker, huh?
Not a big hiker, no. I got broken up with once when I was 23 years old. My girlfriend, she just kept wanting to go on hikes every single
Scarred
morning.
for life.
Yeah, and I was
Scarred
just
for
like,
life.
I'm not going on a hike this morning. It's
Bad
Saturday.
things
It's college
happen.
football.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. National Happy Hour Day. So these are templates that we have in our community. So this is just an example to show you that we have carousel posts, we have reels, static image posts, but this kind of gives you an idea of how to like frame up your content with these holidays. So pop culture. This is another thing that you could trend jack. We're talking about timeliness. What's the #1 show right now, Jimmy? If you could get this, I'll Venmo you $5.
I'm not even going to try because you make fun of me every time and you're like, you're old and you don't know what's hip. And so I'm not even going to try.
Okay. It is Dancing with the Stars. Drop a 1
Yes,
in the
it
chat
is.
if you're a fan of Dancing with the Stars.
It's true.
This is pop
Yeah.
culture, right? So you
Yeah,
can
the
kind of
Irwin
hear the
kid.
theme
Yeah, that's
song.
right.
Yes,
The Irwin
exactly.
kid. Yeah.
Here's
See?
an example of how an agent trend jacked pop culture with Dancing with the Stars. This is Paige Steckling, aka Utah Real Estate Page.
Presenting 6447 Sunrise Drive with her partner Kayla Marrow, it's Paige Steckling.
Shake your ass, watch yourself, shake your ass. I came here with the mic in my hand. Don't make me leave me with my foot in your, be cool. And don't worry about how I'm ripping. This is what I'm picking, what I'm flipping. This just what I do. Forget $1, girl, pick up 50. Forget that cowboy, girl, you need a real feeling. Off top, the knickerbockers hurting me. Up and over, girl, show me what you're working with. Shake your ass, watch yourself, shake your ass. Show me what you.
I mean, that's just so good, right? It's just like
Yeah.
that's just an example of how the audio really
Paige is
makes you
fearless. Yeah.
feel. Yeah, Paige is
Yeah.
fearless, but the whole point,
Yeah.
Dancing with the Stars is happening. She used it in her
Yeah.
content. This is Bridget
Yeah.
Baldwin, aka
Yeah.
Tucson agent, Berkshire Hathaway
Yeah.
agent. Go follow her if you don't already. Here's another
Yeah.
example. Love Island, very popular show. I don't know if you've seen it, Jimmy, but here's how she trend jacked that pop culture.
On this season of Love Island Tucson, things are getting hot.
Welcome to Love Island Tucson Edition, where the sun is hot, but this listing even hotter. Islanders, meet me by the fireplace.
That's pop culture for you. Bridget will probably be pissed that I shared that, but that video crushed because it happened in the moment. All right, back to the FAQs real quick. Should I use hashtags? I'm going to give you a quick answer here. Absolutely not. It doesn't matter. Stop asking about hashtags. SEO and keywords are the new hashtags. People think that you could still copy paste a 30 block hashtag block from your phone and put it in your comments section, and that's all of a sudden going to give your content some boost. It doesn't work like that anymore. Instagram's algorithm reads your captions, your on-screen text, and even your spoken word in Reels to understand what your content is about. So this means when you're doing your actual content, Tucson housing market, have that in your actual caption, have that at the front of your video, say it in your video. First-time homebuyer tips, be very clear with what the video is about, because now your videos are going to start to show up on Google and AI search. So here's an example. This is Marie Lee from Tennessee. Look at all the keywords she has. First, she has a text-based hook here. 2025 will be seen as the best buyer's market in Nashville. Buyer's market in Nashville. And then she has it in her caption, home buyers in Nashville, clients, interest rates. Like, she just has so many keywords in here that when people search like home buying in Nashville, this video is going to pop up. And a little hack is with SEO and keywords is you could comment back to people in your comments with more of these keywords. So if the word Nashville home keeps, if the word Nashville home keeps popping up, then it's just going to make your content more and more searchable and improve the half-life of that post.
Hey, that's the first time I've heard, maybe I just haven't been paying attention, but first time I've heard you mention commenting back with the with SEO word, you know, some of those that's a great point. And I'd never even thought about that. So
well,
really,
I don't know
really,
if it's true. Honestly, I just made it up. But it sounds good.
No, it would make complete sense, obviously, because if they're watching the engagement, what's the engagement about? And so it makes complete sense.
So yes, and I'm kidding, of course. It does actually work to do this. Comment back to people. Comment back to people immediately, by the way, because if you are there for the first 10 minutes of your post and you ask them a question back, maybe it's like, what do you like about Nashville homes? Then they're going to comment again. So you're getting 3 comments for every comment if you ask a question to their comment. That's a little hack right there. Here's Alyssa again. This is just an example of SEO and keywords over hashtags. $1.5 million Spokane home. That's the text on the video. Then she has Spokane home all over her caption, plus listing the actual features. So if you're searching pool, Spokane home, this post is going to pop up. So forget hashtags, never talk about them again.
Right.
Here's Bridget again. I just want to show her profile because it is optimized for SEO search and keywords. This is her handle, Tucson Agent, which is probably the best handle you could possibly get in Tucson. But notice here in her display name, she has her name, then she has her market and real estate. Everybody here needs to have this in your display name, market, and real estate or real estate agent. If you don't have it right here and you have something else, or you just have your name and someone searches Tucson Agent, you're not going to pop up. Another thing about her profile, Jimmy, I just love the proof over the promise. 550 homes sold professionally since 2009. It's not like a volume thing. It's just 550 homes. That's a ton. Giving glimpses of life in the desert. You want to have a line in your Instagram profile that describes what your content is going to be about. Not just Bridget Baldwin, I'm a real estate agent. It's Bridget Baldwin, I'm telling you about the life that's happening in the desert. That means it's hyper-local content, right? That means it's stuff that's happening that isn't just real estate. If you're only talking about real estate, less people will follow you.
Hey, before you move on from Bridget, this is one of those. I was in a mastermind with her just about a month ago, and then also she was speaking there at that event that Chris and I were at a couple weeks ago. One of the things you'll notice here is, you know, she looks younger, and so putting her experience up front really does, you know, have value. And then the other thing is the 550 plus homes sold professionally since 2009. You know, we've talked a little bit about this on the mastermind. Obviously, I mean, this is optimized. I know you did the audit on this, but when she did this also is we've talked about search engine optimization, SEO, but GEO also. You know, this is a very quotable portion that you're looking at. AI would be able to absolutely grab and utilize and spit back to someone who asked the question on who's the best agent in Tucson, you know, that, and all of a sudden AI is grabbing these little things like this. They can't necessarily see all of her results, but if they have it where she's printed that, it grabs it and actually gives her some GEO juice as well. So really, really well done here.
Exactly. Display name, clear profile picture, proof over promise with how much real estate she's done, describing what her profile is about. You do want to mention your brokerage if it's a good brokerage like this. And then I would have a call to action here that goes to her link, like, you know, download my guide or book a call with me. Great profile. So yes, hashtags are dead. Third question, how often should I post? This actually does matter. The more you post, the more you reach. This should be obvious. But a lot of people still think that there's some magic formula, like if I post twice a week, or some people say, oh, I post once a week now and I get more engagement. It's like, yeah, you get more engagement on that one post, but imagine posting 7 times per week, right? The more you post, the more shots you're getting up. These are just my stats here. It doesn't really mean anything to people looking at this, but I post so consistently and I see a direct correlation between if I post 7 days a week versus 4, whether I do this on the Broke Agent account or the BAM account, my reach, my audience, my follower growth, my engagement, everything drops when I don't post as much. But if you want a simple prescription, this is written by myself, Dr. Klickstein. This is very simple. 3 to 5 posts per week on Instagram and Facebook, 1 long form YouTube video, 1 email per week, and 1 blog per week. If you follow this for a quarter, Jimmy, something good will happen to you.
Magic.
Yeah, magic will happen. All right, what should I use to film and edit? Just use your phone. You do it. Obviously, the more you learn how to do these green screens and these editing, the better you're going to be with content. A lot of agents want to hire a virtual assistant to edit their content, or they want to hire a videographer. And then it just sets up these things in place that just gives you an excuse not to film the actual content. Like, oh, I got to get it to my editor and my editor is going to get it back to me. Just do it on your phone. Specifically use the Edits app. This is an app that is connected directly to Instagram. It's like Instagram's version of CapCut. And when you edit in the Edits app and then post directly from it to Instagram, it actually does improve your engagement. All right, that was a long way to get to the beginning of the presentation, Jimmy. How much time do we have here? I could power through this really quickly.
Yeah, we got 7 minutes, and then we're going to take some Q&A. So, yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
Okay. So those are the 4 questions that will never be asked ever again, especially after this mastermind. So let's talk about how social media has changed. So first I want to ask this: How has your engagement been recently? If it's gone up, drop a 1 in the chat. If it's gone down in the last 6 months, drop a 2 in the chat. And Jimmy, let me know what people are saying. I'll tell you
we
what,
got a mix here. A lot of ones.
Okay.
A lot of ones, but we do have a mix.
Okay. I was
One and
hoping
a half.
for 2s.
1.5.
One and a half.
We got
Okay.
some 2s. We definitely got some 2s and some mixed. And typically a mixed, or 1.5 is basically it's a 2. They just didn't want to answer that. So
Got it. Okay. Well, my engagements dropped differently, but
bunch of 2s. We got Bridget came in here. So Bridget is actually on here. And she's got like 7 2s. So
He's 220 million apparently.
220 million 2s.
Yeah,
Sam say?
he's got a bunch of 2s. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. We're in a like recession. So the way your engagement is dropping means people are just engaging with your content differently. So likes are going down dramatically, right? People are seeing now 10,000 posts per day, and there's been 34% more Reels posts this year than last year. I don't know about how you communicate with content, Jimmy, but I don't really like photos or Reels anymore from people. I just scroll to be entertained, and if I see something that I like or that's new information, I copy that link and I text it to a friend, right? Unless it's my friend posting something like, a marriage or a new kid or something like that. They're all popping out kids left and right. That's when I like the photo, but I rarely do that if I'm just scrolling. So right now you're going to see more saves, more comments, and more shares than likes. This is a perfect example of a post that I did recently that got 2 comments, 300 likes, but look at those shares and saves. It was a simple chat GPT prompt. So just know that the way people are engaging with content is a little bit different. And that's because interest media has replaced social media. And Jimmy, this is what you brought me here to actually talk about. So I'm glad I'm finally getting to it right now in the 55th minute.
No, this is great.
I just need people. I wanted to frame everything up so people understand like how content's consumed today. So previously with social media, your focus was on building a following, right? Your content reach was tied mainly to your follower account. And the only way you would get success on any of these platforms was stack a bunch of followers, and then a percentage of that audience would see it. So you'd have to get 20,000 followers for 2,000 people to even see your content, assuming 10% of the people actually watch. Currently, we are in interest media, which is actually a really good thing, where the focus is now on the content itself. It doesn't matter who you necessarily follow. Your feed is probably now 70, 80% people you don't follow. The connections don't even matter. It's all based off of behaviors and interests. So how do you get picked up in the algorithm? You obviously have to create content about stuff people are actually interested in. And you know what people aren't interested in, Jimmy? This is a little cartoon I created. This is a spouse, a wife, sharing with her husband that a real estate agent just posted this amazing video about the earnest money deposit and did a definition video. And there he is. He's so fired up because that this agent posted this video. This has never happened in the history of the world because that educational content is legitimately boring. I'm not saying not to do education content, but what do you share with your wife, right? What do you share with your friends? It's new community information. It's hyper local. It's stuff that's going on. As Chris said at the beginning of this presentation, I think people buy or sell homes once every 10 years now. So if you're only posting real estate content and educational content, then you're only capturing people in a very rare part of their life. So what are people interested in? New information, community, hyperlocal, value, and entertainment. I just want to show 2 pieces of education content that's absolutely crushing today.
Wow, look at this home for sale. It's so perfect. I wonder if I can afford it. It's nice. Can you afford it? I don't know. You don't know the qualification hack? No. What hack? There's an easy way for you to find out if you'll qualify with the bank. You want me to show you? Yeah, but can you make it simple? I don't want to think so much. All you need to do is find out what your monthly mortgage payment would be, add your debts, and double it. Whoa. You lost me at mortgage payment. It's simple. The house you found on Zillow, what's the mortgage payment? Zillow will tell you. It says it's $3,500 if I put 20% down. Okay, great. $3,500. Now, do you have any monthly debt?
How much better is this skit format like that? Just her,
Right.
It's like you're hopping into a conversation, then a talking head video about here's how you qualify for a mortgage. That's how you capture people's attention in today's social media, interest media. This is Shannon Gillette. Instead of talking about why a seller should not list their home too high coming to market, notice how she frames up this video. Storytelling, 10 times better.
2 people are trying to sell their home. Person A hires an experienced agent with a great marketing plan, but they decide to price their listing high, above market value, to leave room for negotiation. Person B also hires an experienced agent with a great marketing plan, but they price a bit below market value to generate demand. 1 month later, looks like this. Person A has had a ton of views online, but barely any showings, and the showings they have had has said their home is priced too high. Now they're thinking of dropping the price. Person B, they got thousands of views online, lots of attention, tons of showings the first weekend. Their home had multiple offers and it's already sold and closed. So what went wrong here? Well, in real estate, even the best marketing plan in the world can't help your home sell if your price is too high. Your agent could put your home on a Super Bowl commercial seen by millions, but if the price isn't right, no marketing can really help you. Without an experienced agent, you risk overpricing, fewer showings, and your home sitting on the market, costing you time, money, and opportunities because you'll ultimately sell your home for less than if you would have priced it right from day one. If you are thinking of selling your home, you'll want a copy of our free seller's guide, comment guide, and I'll send it to you.
How great was that, Jimmy, from an educational standpoint?
It's phenomenal.
The storytelling.
Yeah.
So let me know if I should.
Let me mention one thing.
Yeah.
Let me mention one thing because I've seen a bunch of people saying, "Hey, I'm not sure how to do the edits." Look, we're planning to do in about, I think it's second week of December, or in the next few weeks at least. We're gonna have a class where we'll teach you the editing. We're just gonna share the editing. We're gonna go into doing all of that, and so just know that's coming in case those of you that are mentioning that.
Yep. Other content that's working today, UGC, this is user-generated content. So taking photos of yourself like this and doing carousel storytelling. This is Sharon doing this. This is that same agent, Marie Lee from Tennessee. Intentional decisions I make when running my real estate business. If you're scared to get on camera, this is a great way to tell stories without being on camera. And all you do is upload these photos and you could add the captions on Instagram themselves. So this is just, I'm going to share these slides at the end so people could see them, but it's just a great way to actually share the story. And should I burn through 10 more tactical things, or should we
let's
go
do
for
that,
the
and then we'll
Q&A?
get to some questions. And then, we'll go into some questions once we let them know about BAM X.
Okay. Awesome. So I'm going to, drop your questions in the chat. Drop a 1 in the chat if you're enjoying this presentation. I need a little validation right now. I'm not seeing as many smiles from Jimmy as I would have hoped from. So I need to know that this is actually going well.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is Burn McGovern. This is an example of hyper local content that performs really well. This is about just a traffic stop or about some sort of like parking lot. And this thing got 2,000 shares. So I just want people to understand, like, when you're posting about stuff in your community, it really works. And just look at the way he frames up this video.
So did you guys hear about this one? Encinitas just decided to redo a street project that was only finished just a few short months ago. And it's going to cost more than $3 million to redo. Yeah, we're talking about Santa Fe Drive right by San Dieguito Academy. Now the city spent...
Notice this 3-pronged setup he has here. This is a really popular, this is called a trend jack of a style where it's 3 photos in one. I'm going to fast forward to the end of the video.
Fix or a $3 million do-over that didn't really need to happen. Let me know in the comments. Once again, my name is Burn McGovern, local realtor, and I keep up with San Diego news, so you don't have to.
How good does that end? I'm Burn
really
McGovern, local realtor. I keep up with San Diego news, so you don't have to. Notice he didn't introduce himself at the beginning of the video. If he did, that video would have gotten 1/10 of the engagement. Throw in the fact that you're a real estate agent after you've already delivered the value, so they don't think they're just following some random influencer. All right, use the Edits app for more engagement. Collab with as many accounts as possible to break through. So collab with local businesses, collab with your brokerage account, collab with other agents. There's a reason we do this on the BAM account and the Broke Agent account. Use keywords.
Just
in
real
your
quick,
captions.
in case, let me just mention, in case you're wondering about collab, that's simply because I know we're going to get that question from a few. That is just simply when you go in, you can tag someone, or you could have the opportunity to invite them to collaborate. Gives them the ability to accept it. It shows up on their grid as well as yours. Expands both of your audience. So and if you aren't sure about it, just ChatGPT that as well.
Exactly. Use captions and text-based hooks. We mentioned these. These are examples. My huge head right there. But how I got 100 replies from one Instagram story. This agent gets over 50 leads. Anytime you could use numbers that really contextualizes the post, whether it's in YouTube thumbnails or YouTube titles, how I got 5 offers from this marketing campaign, right? That hooks people in. Use numbers. Mix it up with carousels. and actual reels. Use audio in all of your content. Here's another example of a static image post. And Jimmy, I'm a DJ, okay? I should be a DJ because I always know the perfect song to choose.
You do.
And watch what it does to this video.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, yo.
How much better is that post with Wu-Tang Clan?
Perfect.
308 shares.
Yes,
Without it,
yes.
it would suck. Thank you, Sam. I know you were vibing in the background. Post trial reels. So if you have content that you're kind of scared to share to your actual feed, you could actually toggle on this right here, trial reel. That will be shown to non-followers. So if you have a new series that you're kind of scared to post or you just want to test content, this is a great way to reach non-followers. Focus on hooks and watch time more than anything. You hook the audience in. The number one thing you want to look for in your engagement is your view rate past the first 3 seconds. That will show you how good your actual hook was. And then you want to check out your average watch time, meaning how long did they actually watch the video. Tell stories over stats. Mix in the sell. I'm just burning through these because I know we're kind of short on time.
Yeah.
Don't post, come to my open house, right? Deliver value. Here are 3 things to do in Tucson this weekend. Number 1, you're going to hit brunch at this spot. Number 2, you're going to go to the U of A Cincinnati game. Number 3, you're going to go to the farmer's market. Number 4, 5 minutes from the farmer's market, I'm having an open house, right? So you're mixing in the sell with value. And then also, instead of doing just listed posts, you want to do more scroll stopping, news style listed posts like this, where you have like a mid-century modern right there. Number 11, you're going to want to join a community that actually helps you with this stuff. So there you go, Jimmy. Was that helpful?
Hey, speaking of the community that helps with this stuff, before we get to the questions, can you share a little bit about BAMX? Because I mean, obviously it's a tool that I utilize and it's invaluable.
Absolutely. So first, I just want to say this is the best time to create content ever because you could have 0 followers or 5,000 followers and you could have a piece of content crush it regardless. I've spent my whole life building a following and now someone with 1 follower can get the same amount of views that I can. So if you feel like you've been behind in content for a while, you're not because you're literally just 1 post away. So little motivation there at the end. I'm going to give you all a chance to scan this right now and then I'll drop it in the chat too. That's you, Jimmy. This is a free trial to what, you don't like that photo?
No, it's funny that you dropped me in there. It's just, I mean, yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's just whatever.
I know. Appreciate it. I know. I appreciate it. Yes.
It's called
That's
familiarity, right?
Glamour shots, baby.
Little glamour shot right there.
That's a little AI enhanced. Yeah.
Everything I talked about is in our community in BAMX. So scan this right now. I'm going to give everybody here a 7-day free trial. We have social media templates, 3 a week that are always timely and relevant. We have one on the 50-year mortgage coming out today. We have a weekly content drop. We have video scripts. We have blogs. We have emails to customize and send to your database. And the best part is we have office hours and trainings to help you with all this. So I know this was just a fire hose of bullshit. I mean, a fire hose of information. And then a lot of people are probably a little confused. Like, what's the next step here? What do I do? This is how you get that next step. It's because we have office hours where we actually talk you through this. And by the way, we have trainings from Sharon, from Andrew Undum, from the best creators in real estate. We have a role play every single Tuesday with Byron Lazine, with Tom Toole, Lisa Chinati, some of the best agents in the country. Yes. So it's not just social media. It's the #1 community to help you actually close more deals. This is a free trial. So scan this QR code right now, get in there, and I'll show you the back end of the platform too as we're kind of taking questions.
Yeah, that's great.
And I'll drop it in the chat right now too.
Okay, perfect. And I think Sam's got the link. I think Sam's got a link also if you want to drop that in the chat if you don't mind. And then Eric, and I'm going to let Sam, once he gets that in there, drop some questions. A couple things that we're looking at. They were asking what's the cost after the free trial. If you don't mind, if you can do that.
Yeah, the cost is $97 a month after the free trial, but just try it right now. Today's the best day to get in because you get the content drop. I just dropped the link. I accidentally just dropped it into the. Okay, I'm going to drop it into the attendees chat. But
good. There now.
Oh, you got it in there?
Yes. Sam posted,
It is, it's a 7-day free trial. Today, you're going to get access to all of our content. And then Tuesday's the role play. And then we have an office hours on Wednesday. So get in now. If you don't like it, cancel. But it would be $97 a month after that. It should be $970 a month because of how much value we have in there.
Yeah, this is great. Couple of questions, Sam. Anything that really jumped out? I mean, obviously, look, everybody that's here, thanks for sticking around. I mean, we still got right at 500 people still hanging around after the time. So obviously, the content was great. And so, anything in particular, Sam? I know we had so many questions. Listen, Eric, we're gonna have to do this again. And maybe that's something where we were talking about that, where maybe you come back and help us, like with the edits app, and show some of those things. I think that would be great, and super helpful as well. Anything, Sam, that jumped out? They were coming pretty fast. So.
Eric, the presentation and a lot of your content is focused on Instagram. Can you speak to how this content plays on other platforms, TikTok, Facebook, possibly X?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same principle of interest media. So TikTok's the same thing. It's still good to have a text-based hook. TikTok is not really as educational, I guess. Well, it is. TikTok also just added in something with mini chat where you could actually comment the word "this" and then you could send them a message, which is really cool. But it's the same principle applies to both. If you're posting on Instagram, you should still share it to Facebook as well, because that post is going to do well. In fact, I've been seeing Facebook organic increase so much because I think the attention has shifted so much to Instagram and TikTok that now there's kind of space left on Facebook. But the Facebook audience is a little bit older of a demographic. So maybe some of your focus is more going in Facebook groups, getting the information about the news that's happening in your market and becoming like a thought leader in that Facebook group on top of just publishing your content.
In BAMX, do you make suggestions of audio or music that should go along with certain posts? Is there some place that's curated because not everybody thinks in that creative way?
Yeah, I mean, in BAMX, we would answer that question in our office hours, and sometimes we do recommend audios with our content. But the best way to do that is you could go into the trending section when you're selecting a video, or the Spotify will start to pick up stuff that you've already done before. So I have a bunch of like saved audios that I've used. So then it'll just start to pick up on that. But really the whole point is to match the actual mood of the post. So I just want to show people what we have in here. So this is the classroom. This is the community. Think of it like a Facebook page where you could ask any question. Like this person has profile help. We have access to Zoodealio, a cash offer platform. In our classroom, this is your content drop every single week. And then we have all of our listing templates. So if you're trying to do kind of that new style that we were talking about, where you want to have a news headline, you could just go in and customize it right there. We have all of our video scripts, hyper-local templates with any fake holiday that you've ever thought about. We've already thought about it and created that template for you. We also have housing market, data stats, lead magnets to copy paste, ChatGPT prompts. We have an entire AI playbook from Sharon that will actually help you show up in search. And then we have these knowledge banks from Chris Benjamin, Tessa, Andrew Undum. So yes, get in there is my point.
Yeah. And listen, I don't want to, hijack this, but I mean, it is a free, you got a week free. Not that anyone would do this, that they would go on there and grab a bunch of templates and jump off. I think if you go on there, you always can, but if you get on there, you're going to be amazed at what's there. So listen, if you're that person, go ahead and do that. But I mean, I'm telling you, once you get on there, you're going to absolutely find exactly what you want.
I'll just keep this on during the questions so people could scan it.
Would you? Would you? I
absolutely.
appreciate that.
I appreciate I'm glad that you said that, Jimmy, but here's the truth is that innovators like Eric are always so far out in front. By the time they scrape everything in a week's time, 2 weeks time, he will have created greatness long after that.
Yeah. No, I was joking because, look, I know some people are going to do it and it's fine. I mean, look, I think Eric knows that it's going to be fine. But I think for those of you that truly do want to grow, you're going to get in there and you're going to be amazed with everything that's offered. So great stuff.
Absolutely.
Hey, anything,
Eric, one more question. How do you feel about posts that are very specific to audiences? Specifically, Tom is asking, political posts and the takes on that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are there any landmines that they should stay away from? What's your opinion on that stuff?
I mean, you know what you're going to get. If you go political, 50% of your audience is going to love you even more for your posts, and 50% of your audience is going to be turned off. So really, it's a business decision when you start to do something like that. I know people that have gone the political route, agents, where they've gone really right or really left, and now it's like they're attracting that sort of people with their content. That's great because that's who you're going to work with. But if you're going to want to cut off 50% of your audience, you just know that that's going to happen. And if you can't take negative feedback on posts, which is really hard for people, if you go in the political realm, you will be getting horrible feedback. Even if we just mention that Trump was floating the 50-year mortgage, that gets negative pushback because just the mention of his name is going to get something like that. So I have consciously gone not political at all on the broke agent content because I want to cast the widest net possible.
Correct.
But if there's something you're really opinion on, you know, religion, whatever, like you should work that into your content if you're religious, because then other people that go to church or go to temple or whatever are going to be attracted to you. So you could kind of do political stuff in a roundabout way of charities and values, as opposed to saying like, hey, here's my opinion on this, right? Here's my opinion on what the administration is doing. But you can also talk about politics when it comes to like your local government and how it's affecting housing. That would be a good way to actually talk about it.
Yeah. Hey, Eric, is there a minimum commitment when you sign up? Is it an annual commitment? That's the question we had. Is it a monthly commitment of 3 months, 6 months? What
There's
is
no
the commitment?
there's no commitment. So you could sign up right now. It's a 7-day free trial. But if you hit the monthly, then you will start to get charged on the month. The annual gives you 2 months off free. So if you are signing up, you can still do the trial and do the annual. I do recommend doing that. BAMX, just like anything, you get out of it what you put into it. But there's so much content in there. I guarantee you guys will love it.
Yeah,
Yes,
Eric, I was just remembering on the political side, one of the first nights when we were in Raleigh, we were actually, speaking at that event, and we were staying in the same house, which was odd, that they had all of us, I think 4 or 5 of us in. And it was the night of the debates, as I remember.
Yes.
And it was like an uncomfortable. And I just remember you breaking that tension and being like, so who's going to make the comment that we all know who you're following? So, I mean, this is one of those, it was like everybody's walking in. I don't want to offend anyone. This is how so anyway. Hey, one other thing they mentioned in here, do you need permission? Someone asked, Angela asked, do you need permission from businesses or others to post their info, or is it really more like you are giving free publicity and no one gets mad? It's already public. Can we share?
That's a great question. So in BAMX, we actually do have, I'm not going to tie everything to BAMX. I'm just letting you know, we do have a DM script for agents to use to DM businesses. One of the best things you could do before you're doing a business spotlight or before you ask to collab with a business is you got to let them know before you actually do you don't have to let them know, but it's a courtesy thing. And also they're more likely to collab and promote that post if you do. So don't just walk into a business filming everything, right? DM them beforehand, or maybe go in a week before and say, hey, I really love your restaurant. I'm going to do a reel about it, hyper local content saying like, these are the dishes I love. Let me know if you'd want to collab. So I would recommend it going about it that way, so that you're at least preparing the business. And then that way their social media manager is more likely to collab with you on the post. And if you collab with that business, you will be showing up in that business's feed, and the business is going to be so pumped because they're getting free content out of this. There's nothing better than when someone else is talking about your business, just like there's people in the comments talking about BAMX. This is not answering the question about trend jacking clips. What's the question about trend jacking clips?
The question on trend jacking clips is, I guess they're concerned about copyright on other people's posts, because but I don't think that they understand, especially like on a green screen, you're sharing what they've already shared to the public, right?
Yeah, so you're attributing credit, and always credit whoever you're using the content from in the caption. So when Jared James uses our article, he collabs with us and then also tags us in the caption. Whenever I use a meme that someone else posted, I always tag them in the photo and in the caption. Is it legal to use music? Yes. Spotify is connected to Instagram, so you could use music. Kimberly, did that answer your question? I feel like, I don't know if it did or not. You let me know.
Yeah, and I think she was also referring to, sometimes you have what probably is considered copyrighted material, like some of the clips from movies or something like that. So how are you scraping that and using that, or are you just using it from other content that's already being shared and you're kind of repurposing that?
Sometimes I'll go on YouTube and actually screen record a clip from a movie, but nothing ever happens. One of the best ways you could do it on Instagram, which is encouraged, is you could actually remix a post. So say a creator already posted a clip that you like, you could click the 3 dots in the top right corner and click remix, and then you could add your own caption to that post, but it still attributes credit to the original creator.
Excellent. All right.
Yes, and BAM is the same as school. School is where you
School's
go
the
to.
platform. School's the platform that houses BAMX. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Listen, anything else out there? Look, Eric, I mean, obviously, look at the number of comments people have hung around. This is, I mean, apparently you're pretty good at this. So this is great, and been phenomenal. I mean, look, I think
Thank you.
everybody that's here got some ideas. A couple things that I just did, you know, at the beginning, we kind of talked about that, just the text, the text-based hook, the verbal hook, also the visual hook, all of those are really, really critical. And, you know, you saw some great examples here. We're going to have, you know, like I say, go in there and get your 7-day free trial. That would be my suggestion, because you'll see a lot of these posts that he's talking about and some of the education there. One thing that I would just say is look, we're going to continue to have more education in this way. And I know we've got varying, I mean, we've got everybody. I saw where Bridget was here, somebody who's an expert on social, to somebody that maybe is just starting out. From that standpoint, we're going to come back and give you some more training on actually how to edit some of these videos. We'll start with 101, kind of work our way up to 301 with that training. That'll be coming up in the next few weeks. And so a couple things just to make Eric happy. Jimmy Mackin will be with us next week, next Friday. So we will, I know, exactly. I knew. That's
you guys ready to hear? You guys ready to hear everything that I just said?
Yeah.
You guys ready to hear that again? Tune into Jimmy Mackin next week. I'm kidding.
So
Jimmy Mackin's the legend. I love him. Look at that. Alicia, please bring Eric back. Please. I have a part 2 to go through his presentation again. Please. I want Eric back every single week. That's what Alicia just said. Jimmy, can I send these slides? Can I send do people want these slides?
Yeah, it would be great if you could send those back to Sam and me and Savvy. We'll get these things. We'll get these back out to everybody with the replay as well. So we'll get all of those things. And Eric, definitely we'll have you back. I mean, literally. I mean, I think we'll look at the schedules. You know, we're winding down here towards the end of the year, but man, this might be a great kickoff for the first of the year to do some training specifically on what they can do. So we'll definitely get that taken care of. Man, hey, show some love. Show some love to Eric. Those of you that are hung around, you know, 350 people hung around till the very end here, which is amazing. So just such good stuff, brother. Appreciate you. Listen, thanks again to Sam for facilitating everything, Savage as well. Thanks for Chris for showing up, kicking us off right, and Eric just always literally bringing the heat. So listen, Eric, I will catch up with you a little bit later. Everybody out there, don't get overwhelmed with all of this. Pick one thing. Take action on one thing, and I promise you're going to start seeing those results. Literally, that little prescription thing, I wish I would have screenshot that, because I'm going to go back and get that once you send the slides. The prescription of what to do that Eric laid out, and if you did that for 1 quarter, I will promise you, I mean, there's very few things I promise. I will promise you your business will be better for doing that. So thanks again. Anything you want to add, Eric, as we wrap up?
No, I just want to reemphasize that this is the best time to create content, because I do feel like so many agents felt like I'm so overwhelmed right now. I am behind. Everybody in my market has already been posting for years. This is a fresh start, the way the algorithms work today, and it's awesome. And you have ChatGPT now as a brainstorm mechanism to help you write these scripts. It's as simple as, here's a hyper-local news story. Copy paste that story, say, write me a 60-second script on this. You film it, you post it. That's it. We are in such a fun place to create content right now, and I absolutely love it. And then the final thing I would say is, come into BAMX, because I'm going to do an office hours next week, an onboarding call where I answer questions like this. And then Jimmy, I would love to do another mastermind with you guys where it's just Q&As. I think that could be easier too, where it's just
What if we opened up BAMX and like edited stuff on and created content in real time so they can see it?
That's what we do. That's what we do with office hours.
Do it.
We actually go through people's content and say, hey, this is the hook that you should have used. This is the reel that you should have posted. So Jimmy, Sam, I really appreciate you guys. Jimmy, I'll give you an answer to the other question later today.
Sounds great. Hey, thanks everybody for stopping by. Appreciate everything. We will see you guys. Have a great weekend. Get some wins this weekend, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.